Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. We are at Fun City today, buddy.
This place has been here, 50 years?
50 years today. We are at Hardinsburg, Kentucky, at the 50th anniversary of US 60 Dragway. Everybody that's anybody in the sports of drag racing has been at US 60. It's a staple in the state of Kentucky, and every cool car. They were running funny cars before the rest of the country knew what funny cars were.
They just thought they was funny because it's Kentucky.
Yeah, they were laughing at them. But this place is absolutely awesome. Today, like I say, is the 50th anniversary celebration that we're here to attend. And, man, there's all the old gassers with the straight axles. There's front-motored fuel dragsters. There's, man, you name it, it's here. And colorful characters to boot. You're going to get to meet all the old-timer guys. You're going to get to talk to them. We're going to talk to them. You're going to get to listen to them, but we're going to talk to them, and we're going to try to make this as much fun. If you have half as much fun listening on the radio as Terry and I are going to do, having this show or doing this show for you, you're going to have one good time.
Well, Stevie, just getting here setting up. The music is outstanding. I mean, how many places you go and let them jam out to the Beach Boys?
Yeah, got Beach Boys rolling. Got a shortened 57 Chevy. You think that thing might do a wheel stand or two? I mean,
it's got the wheelie bars.
Yeah, this place is absolutely awesome. It's a wonderful facility, and we're going to have just an absolute blast bringing this show to you. I got to run down here just toward the end just a little bit, Terry, because I can remember it was deja vu for me riding over here, because this place when I was growing up was an every Friday night staple.
Seen a lot of covered wagons back then, didn't you?
Yeah, right. Give me a break. Yeah, they were circled in this other field over here. But this place was the staple racetrack. We would actually race here on Friday night. We would go to Owensboro, Kentucky on Saturday night.
Windy Hollow, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Windy Hollow. It was Owensboro Dragway. It was Windy Hollow wasn't even there then. But we would go there on Saturday night, and then, of course, we would go to Beach Bend on Sunday, which was absolutely the coolest thing that there was. And I can't remember. It took us just a little while to get over here, and I can't remember it taking quite that long on a Friday night.
You know, Spiv, you was a lot younger back then, too, and you pretty much ruled the roost over here, didn't you?
Well, no, we didn't rule the roost, but we made our presence felt. We won a lot of races here, and I had to run down to the end of the racetrack because I run off the end of it about 3 times, trying to stop the wild things that I brought over here.
Missed the parachute, huh?
Well, yeah. Actually, this racetrack here was the very first place that we learned to use a parachute. And it was one of those deals. What is it? Necessity or is the mother of all invention?
Yeah.
And after we'd run off the end a couple of times, I said, there's got to be a better way. And this was before the funny car. This was in the big block Corvette days. It was fast enough that we ran all the way off the end of this thing trying to stop it. Of course, back in 1966, the big block Corvette didn't have disc brakes in it. It had drum brakes. And you couldn't stop the thing in a 40-acre field. Of course, it would run rather well. And then, of course, we had to make more of a hot rod out of it. But there is a long, grassy area, which I wanted to see if it still had my name on it.
Well, I don't know. You say long, it looks to be about 50 yards maybe. Try to whoa a car down on grass going that fast. I bet that was a religious experience.
Well, you were just thankful you get it stopped before the trees.
Going back to the point, you was young and bulletproof.
Well, I don't know about that, buddy. This place brings back so many memories. We had so much fun here as a kid when they told us that they would like for us to come and do the 50th anniversary celebration, man, I wanted to say, when can we leave? Because I love this place.
I can remember Mom and Dad coming here all the time, and seemed like every Friday night they was gone every Friday night.
Well, Elmo was, this was a staple to his income because he'd go over here and spank them right hard and just put cash in the bank.
I can remember him loading trophies up in the drag car. Of course, he pulled up a tow bar, and he would bring over 10, 15 trophies at a time, and that would pay for his gas and his entry fee to get in here.
Yeah, they'd buy them from him.
Right.
Yeah.
Some that didn't have some other track's name on it, he'd sell them boogers in a minute.
And then before I ran the funny car here, I remember coming over here and seeing the very first funny car run that I ever saw live and in person done at this. It was a fella by the name of Charlie Allen back years ago that, of course, they all were just about the old altered wheelbase Dodges back then.
Right.
But he was out of California, and he was really, really a cool guy. He wound up owning a couple of drag strips in California, but they put on one heck of a show at this place.
You seen your calling right then, didn't you?
Well, it got my attention, and then a guy bought the old Corvette. He put more $100 bills in my face than I ever thought existed, and he bought it, and I went to Owensboro, and I bought the old Kentucky Colonel car. And, boy, that was a disaster. But we went into that on our intro show. You can listen to that one there. But this is going to be so much fun. We actually, one of our guests that's going to join us, a fellow by the name of Mr. Bob Davis, he was the announcer back then at US 60 and at Owensboro and part-time some at Beach Bend. So he would make the same circuit we did. And he knew everybody who was anybody, and still does as far as that goes. I mean, Bob is an authority on just about everything to do with cars.
He's a fine fellow.
Oh, great guy. What was it he said when we pulled in? Said there's a guy running around here with jumper cables around his neck. We think he's trying to start something.
Yeah. As soon as you started to roll the window back up.
Yeah, what a cool guy. But anyway, guys, we're gonna go through here. We're gonna see a bunch of people. One thing that's really cool, we always kid about the bathrooms everywhere we go.
These have got to be cool bathrooms.
Well, usually you have to read the signs, okay? At Hardinsburg, they think ahead on that because the ladies have pink porta-johns.
Hot pink.
And the guys have blue ones. Now, that usually only takes place in the hospital when babies are born, right?
This is true.
But they've got that right here, and boy, is this cool or what. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. We're going to say a little word or two from our sponsors, and we're going to get busy and find our next victim here, and no telling what we'll get into.
Well,
we're going to have,
folks. You've heard me say it before on numerous occasions, but if you listen, you like. This is going to be a killer show.
This is going to be a fun show. We're going to have a blast, and we're going to take a little commercial break, and we will be right back.
Right back.
All right, guys, we are back from the US 60 show that we have looked forward to doing more than you can imagine. This is the 50th anniversary edition, and we have the first lady of US 60 here. Miss Judy, how in the world are you?
I am great.
Well, you look good. You look good. No wonder y'all draw a big crowd.
Right, yeah.
How long have you owned US 60?
We have been here for 27 years in May. This past May was 27 years.
That's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot of fun.
A lot of friends.
Yeah, well, really it is. And we have expressed so many things, and I want you to listen to all this show when it's done. We'll send you a CD or whatever. But we went down to the end down there on our opening of this show.
Yes.
And Terry said, well, what are we going down there for? I said, because I run off the end of this thing so many times I want to see if my urine is still down there.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
He marked his spot.
Yeah, I'm like an old dog. I mark my spot when I run off the end. The anniversary celebration, you got all these cool old cars, and you got a tub full of cool people that we're going to get to talk to. First off, let it be thank you for allowing us to come here and do this show from here. This place has more memories for me than gosh, anything I can think of, because it was an every Friday night event to come here for me. It you guys had races back then that nobody in the world had,
Right.
And how do you do that?
Well, Keenan O'Connell's the one that started this.
Oh, I know.
And I was with him the other day, and he was saying, thank you for having this anniversary And I said, well, it couldn't be without him. We couldn't do this, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to start. But the anniversary is so cool because all these guys, everybody here is secretly in love with you for keeping this place. And you know, they're all so thrilled to be here. And all it's great it's like a reunion, you know.
Yes, it is. Family.
Yeah, and I've said that many, many times. Racers are different than any other kind of sport. They hate each other when they get on the starting line, and they're best of buddies everywhere else.
They will take parts off of their car and put it on yours so you can race, and then they have to trade it back out whenever it's their time to race.
Oh, they'll do that so you can beat them.
Yes, I know it.
You know, and that's what makes it so neat. And it's I have found, of course, I'm an old guy. I'm not young like you, but I'm an old guy. And I have found that the friends I made growing up at the drag races are to this day still the best friends I have in life.
Right on. And you meet so many people, and I don't know of any person I've ever met that I didn't enjoy being around or didn't like.
Well, me too. And when this was, you know, way back when. Of course, now this is in downtown Hardinsburg.
Oh, yes, it is.
You know, and it used to be, well, that's just a little ways out of town. Well, guess what? Town has grown up around it.
Yes, it has.
And you're probably the only racetrack that the town welcomes to be there.
Oh, they do. They really, really do. They make us feel welcome. We were closed a couple of years, and everybody saying, boy, we're glad to see you back.
Well, it brings money into the town. See, people don't realize that, but they buy gas, they buy food, they buy lots of things that they would not have without the racetrack. And it's good, wholesome family entertainment.
Yes, it is.
You know.
That's how we like to keep it, too, for a family.
So you run now, which days of the week and all do you run now?
We run Friday night for our slick tire cars, our ET classes, and Saturday night is street tire. Anybody that drives a car on the street can race.
You know, that is a cool deal, not only being able to race, but that's being a really, really good citizen of the community for these young people, because y'all got a lot of neat straight roads out here that you could flat do some serious street drag racing on.
You're right.
And with this facility here, man, you get to do it and do it safe in a great place.
And we try to keep it the price at a price that everybody can afford to come out and play.
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, good Lord, you know, you got cool concession facilities, you got cool bathrooms. Terry and I were talking about the bathrooms. Other than a hospital, where do you go where the pink ones are for the girls and the blue ones are for the guys? I mean, you know, Hardinsburg, you got it going on.
There ain't a lot of toilets, and those are the neatest.
Yeah, really they are. And I don't know why all of our shows, I guess Dallas Jones did that to us, having the air-conditioned bathrooms at Beach Bend.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because Dallas is one of our sponsors of this show. And we always kid him about his bathrooms, you know. And at Hot Rod Reunion, and matter of fact, I know we shouldn't be talking bathrooms at a racetrack, but I can't help it. We stopped, we stop, and he's got little gals on golf carts going in there cleaning those things 3 or 4 or every couple of hours.
Yes.
All of them. And I asked him, I said, Dallas, I said, this is not the Hilton, friend. You know, he said, this is my house. They're coming to visit me. I want them taken care of.
Dallas is special, I guarantee you. He is really...
He sort of knows how to run a racetrack.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, well,
he
should.
Definitely
He's
does.
done it forever. He ought to know how.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in a drag strip? Because an attractive lady like you looks like you own a dress store or something.
Well, I was raised around the drag strip. I mean, my brother, which is here today, helping me. He has raced since before he got his driver's license. And
imagine us doing that, Terry.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of it.
We would sneak Mom's car out, and we'd go drag racing, okay? My mother knew it. She just didn't tell us she knew it. And then my mother, at 68, became a drag racer.
No kidding.
Right.
Is that cool?
Yeah. She raced till she was 81. So I've just always been involved. My husband was a drag racer, so you just
sort of part of the family,
yeah.
huh?
And it gets in your blood. You can't change it, you know?
What's that saying? A family
who would
want to
change
stays together?
Yeah, but who would want to change it?
Not me.
No,
I
me
love this
neither.
place, you know?
Well, you know, I love everything I've ever done around it. And it's just, Guys, if you have never been to US 60 Dragway in Hardinsburg, you got beautiful scenery to come up here. You get to go around the lake and all that stuff. But this is one that you got to write down. You got to come. If you come anywhere close to the state of Kentucky, this is a have to be. This one needs to be as important to you as Mammoth Cave. Really, because you get to come to a place that has the history that this place has. You meet such nice people like we have as our guest here that welcome you with open arms and treat you like, hey, we're glad you came.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, I know you are. And then they provide you with a facility second to none to watch the races, to enjoy the food, to kick back on a great family day. What's better than that? Nothing.
That's right. Drag racing is the best. I mean, it's on every aspect.
Well, I think so too, Gal. I think so too.
You got a fan there. Spivey kind of loves drag racing.
Yeah, I sort of like it just a little.
Else also.
Well, you like it too. You grew up in it.
Yeah.
His dad has raced over here many times growing up with us and won a bunch of stuff over here. So this is sort of second home week to us.
Yeah, I heard that you used to race here.
Yeah, I did. I ran off the end down there a lot. Matter of fact, we just told a deal. Racing over here caused me to have my first experience with a parachute because my car was fast enough I couldn't stop it.
Oh, is
and
that
yeah,
right?
I went off the end twice. And so we put a parachute on it. I'll never forget the first time I pulled it, I thought it was going to tear my head off.
Yes.
But then I got used to it and everything was fine. So, but no, I love this place. I really do. It's like I say, it's a second home to me, and getting to come over here and you thinking enough of us to let us come and do your 50th anniversary celebration, we're honored to be here.
Well, we're sure glad y'all could make it.
We were going to make it no matter what we had to do. You could count on it.
But I told some of them you were coming, and I said, but he's not going to be here early. I said, he's a late sleeper also.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, till I went in the Army, I never knew the sun rose. I always thought it just set.
Yeah, right.
But I got turned around when I played basic training in the Army. So, but I figured out it's pretty cool to watch the sun come up every once in a while.
Every once in a while, just ever.
Not on a regular basis. No, we don't want to do that. Miss Judy, thank you so much thank you for a lot of things. Thank you for providing the facility that you have. Thank you for letting me rekindle all the memories great memories that I have here. And thank you for being so nice, and thank you for allowing us to come. We just really are going to have a blast.
Well, thank y'all for coming. It really means a lot to us to have you come out and
don't get too many old fat guys. Is that what it is?
And say that our facility's a nice one, and that you know.
I mean, Ray Charles can see that. I mean, we don't have to lie to anybody.
Right.
But it really is, and we're looking forward to bringing you a pretty doggone good show.
Thank you very much, and I will look forward to hearing it.
Well, we're going to make sure you do. We got one of your cards, and we're going to mail you a CD of all of it, and you can sit around and listen to yourself. Of course, it'll be when it airs, it will air 24 hours a day for 7 days.
Okay.
Then it goes on an archive page that you can listen to it at any time. So if Aunt Lily comes over for dinner on Christmas, you say, you want to hear that interview I did with that idiot? Okay. And all you got to do is go on our archive page, eventradiolive.com, and just touch the button and pay the US 60 50th anniversary show, and you can listen to this anytime you want to.
I thank y'all for coming.
What a sweet lady, guys. We're going to stab and steer. We're going to ride through this US 60 Dragway, and we're going to meet some more of the colorful characters of US 60 in Hardinsburg, Kentucky. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back from our 50th anniversary celebration at US 60 Dragway in Hardinsburg. We have a gentleman that, if there's such a thing as a fun police, they'll be arresting this guy because he is so much fun. He has a portable drag strip that's like made from slot cars that actually has period-correct cars that you can run replicas of old funny cars at dragsters and pro stock cars and all that stuff.
Stonewood and Cook.
Yeah, there you got them all. Tony, doggone it, how have you been, my friend?
Oh, I've been good.
Having too much fun?
All the time.
Well,
that's what it's about.
You got a Gasser Falcon.
Oh yeah.
And you get out there and do wheelies and all that fun?
Big wheelies, but I broke it. But
Oh, did you break it already?
Yeah.
Oh, you knew we were coming. That's what it was.
I'm racing the Angley today, the old Angley.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we knew you'd have something. I mean, you have too much fun not to have something. You put on some events over here too, haven't you?
Oh, I think this is probably the 14th show so far, maybe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. You put on one right now that these two old guys are going to have a lot of fun at being at it. It's just a cool deal. You know, I love it myself.
Yeah, we had yesterday. We had a really pretty good show yesterday, and we had the gassers, and they had this NHRA super stockers and stocks, and we had the flag drags, and we had the mini bike race yesterday also.
Ooh, that would have been fun. Terry could have done that. I mean, he's a motorcycle guy from way back. He likes those motorcycle deals. You anything coming up in the future we need to tell the people about?
September 13th, we'll be doing a nostalgia drag racing. It's the US 60 Summer Nationals here at the US 60, and there'll be the Battle of the Gassers. We got the Ohio Gassers coming in, and the Kentucky Gassers against the Ohio guys, and we got some from Tennessee will be here, and also from Indiana.
Really?
Big
Well,
show.
that ought to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking for. Yeah, we might have to slide back up here.
There you go.
Oh, you never know. We might have to come back up and check that out. We really like this place. I mean, it's really neat. It's fun, and the scenery's so pretty getting here. I don't care which way you come. You're going to see some real pretty country and stuff, and the lake and all that nice stuff.
Right.
What time do the festivities get underway today?
I think we're going to start racing around 11. I don't even know what time it is.
Well, that's don't be far from now, I guess.
Real close. They're going to start qualifying, and we got bracket 1, bracket 2, straight axles. It's our car club. We're the straight axle mafia.
Okay, all right.
And there's about 50 members, and
are you the hit man or what?
I'm the vice president.
Oh, you're not the Don.
No.
You're not the Don. All right.
I'm the head man of the Kentucky Nostalgia Drag Racing League.
Okay, well, I knew you had a bunch of titles. You wore a bunch of hats, but nice to know that you'll keep us out of trouble with the mafia.
There you
that's
go.
good.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
We're just fun guys, and we do car shows and raise money for Camp Quality, Kids with Cancer, and we raise money for MS. And we do these car shows and drag races and try to raise some money. So just help out the kids and stuff. And I'm a volunteer at the Camp Quality with my slot cars.
Well, I tell you what, they are just too much fun, guys. If you ever get the opportunity to see Tony's slot car track, please do it. I did it. I'm addicted. And every time that I find out it's going to be anywhere close, this fat boy's on the road to go play with those because you can run off the end and not get hurt. I mean, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, they'll do 60 mile an hour from in a 22-foot. And
that's almost as fast as Terry rides a speedway bike.
Right, and they do wheelies when they take off. And they also, the 125th scales, you scale that down, that's like 600 mile an hour.
That's a little too fast for me. My old age, that's a little too fast. Well, Tony, buddy, we're going to let you cut loose. We can't keep the mafia setting too long, but we appreciate you joining us on Event Radio. We're going to have a bunch of fun here, and we're going to introduce you to a lot more people, guys. This is a blast. We are live at US 60 Dragway in Hardinsburg, Kentucky, and we will be right back. Well, I tell you what, we have to drive 80 miles to see one of my best old buddies that I don't get to see near enough, Mr. J.R. Cundiff. Jay, daggone you. Can you remember some of the times that we spent coming over here?
That you can tell on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell about all of it on the air.
Can you?
But I'm going to pat myself on the back. I was the one that wired this whole thing. I was an electrician at that time, and I wired this whole thing, including the lights, the on the other end, the timers, all the buildings, lights up here where you could see the whole thing.
Well, now I'm going to tell a tale on you, and you deserve it. Daggone it, Susie. You might want to hear this one on my buddy here. We're coming to drag race at Hardinsburg. We go to breakfast first. My buddy JR and I think Johnny Wilhite maybe and a couple of more. Well, we're sitting there, and I don't know why, but my friend here orders 2 eggs overlight, 2 eggs scrambled, and 2 sunny side up or something. I don't know, something like that. And I'm thinking, boy, is this crazy or what, Well, the waitress brings it onto the table. He throws his fork down, gets up mad. She said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" He said, "You scrambled the wrong 2. That's what's the matter."
You got an awful good memory.
Yeah, I know. I remember those cool things.
The parts that I'd rather not remember.
Yeah,
to be honest with
that's
you.
all right.
Hey. Don't mention that too many more times.
Well,
of course,
hey,
nobody's listening.
I hadn't had the chance to tell that in a long time.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it in a long time.
Really, I've got to give you credit where credit is due. I want to thank you for being in there with some of the best times I've ever had in my life.
Well, you were the same with me.
First
time I met you was in Bowling Green, and I don't know what you was driving around down there at that time. You might have had your funny car. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But you had some affiliation with a restaurant there, a steakhouse.
Yeah, my mother and dad, I about drove them
Your
crazy.
mother and dad, I wasn't going to say that. I'm going to let you. And there's 4 or 5 of us, and you said, "Well, come on in, boys, and let's eat." Every one of us got a good steak and potato and all we wanted to eat.
Yeah, well,
Baby took care of it.
Well, my dad was pretty good about that, and he had a theory. He was a really good businessman, and when you're young, punk, and you're broke, you know a lot of people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And of course, we was between all of us, we wouldn't have had enough money to eat there. But he thought that was a good idea because we'd talk about it.
Yeah, well,
and
we
he
told
said,
everybody.
Yeah, and he said, that's good advertising because y'all's parents will come here and I'll more than make up what you cost me.
So
That's
exactly
so he was pretty cool with stuff like that.
Yeah.
He did. So are we drag racing now, or are we just having a good time watching?
I've got, my son's got a superstock car, Plymouth, 63 Plymouth, and we've had it out a few times. He loaned it to his best buddy. His best buddy's car broke, and he's in that nostalgia.
Yeah.
And he loaned him his Plymouth to take out to on somewhere out toward the west, and he took it out there so he'd keep his numbers up. And I think he ended up coming in second with his old car. But anyway, we've got that, and I've got a 63 Fury Sports Fury hardtop, and then we got another 63 that's a fiberglass front end doors and all that stuff. We haven't got it back together yet.
Buddy, I tell you what, you've been a car guy through and through forever, and you're in the car business. I mean, JR's Auto Sales in Russellville, Kentucky.
Right.
Been there. He's a staple. I mean, you you've been in business so long, guys. If you don't feel comfortable buying a car from this man, you're never going to feel comfortable buying one from anybody. Because
33 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, isn't it? I didn't know we were that old. Are we that old?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
No,
I didn't think so.
And
I want to know.
Think
I like hanging out with you because you're a celebrity. Because all these pretty girls are taking your picture.
I noticed that,
and I don't know whether it's wanted posters. Or what? No, it's not me, buddy. It's you, because they weren't taking my picture before you got here.
Well, it's not wanted because I'm not wanted much anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
I got to a point,
And you have a son, Rex. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's here.
He is master fabricator. He actually didn't he learn his craft from Pete?
Learned his craft from Pete Osbrook.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Pete asked him if he knew anything about it, and Rex said no, and he said good.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody to know anything.
Well,
about
he
it.
learned from one of the best.
He did.
There's no doubt about it. And Rex
he
is
turns out some beautiful stuff. He does.
Well, and Rex is a pro. I mean, he is. You probably keep him busy doing your stuff,
Well, actually, he's got enough stuff to do he's probably got 6 months or longer laid up right now.
I don't doubt it. As good as he is at what he does. Well, listen, my friend, I had to cut up with you a little.
Well,
I can't tell you how much I enjoy seeing you and getting to spend a few minutes with you, because there again, like everything at US 60, it's deja vu, bringing back memories and some of the most fun ones I can recall in my whole entire life. And my good friend, my guest, JR, we shared a lot of them together.
We sure have.
And we had fun, and we ain't gonna quit no time soon.
No.
All right.
Listen, I'll tell you one little thing that happened. People here probably don't remember it or never heard of such an animal. But anyway, in about 1965, super stocks were a real thing.
Okay.
Super A's and Super B's.
Yeah.
And Keenan said, I'm going to have a super stock meet. And, I said, well, we're going to have some cars. He said, I'll get the cars. Can we handle it? I said, we can handle it if you get them. There was 22 super stocks here that night. And I'm going to say this about Keenan. He's done a lot of smart things, and this wasn't the smartest he ever did because he turned 22 of them loose at one time going down the 8th mile track.
22
Two at a time, and I was flagging them. You better
got
not,
your arms tired, didn't
you
he?
better not miss a gear.
Yeah, there you go. He
did.
He wasn't waiting on him to get through the other end, huh?
That got out that happened, and the crowd doubled the next weekend.
Oh, I bet.
They
Well,
sure
you know,
did.
he was smart anyway. He of course, Mr. O'Connell, which we hope we're going to get to talk to before we get out of here, had one of the most famous drag race cars in history, a car called Color Me Gone. And that thing, it put drag racing on the map in a lot of places. And he was the owner at the time of US 60 Dragway and brought in cars that were only seen in magazines. You know, you could come here and watch them race.
There was 3 of those cars built.
Was there?
Mm-hmm. One, for some reason, sitting overseas, never to come back, and the other one burnt in St. Louis, somewhere in St. Louis, and Keenan got the other one. And so there was only one of them left.
There you go.
So his was. Would you believe he drove that car from here to Cloveport and back?
No.
12
Well,
miles.
yeah, probably out of you guys. Yeah, I'd believe that.
We changed the rear gear under it, and he told him we're going to do it, and Law said you can't do it. And he said you hide and watch, and took off down the street.
Yeah, well,
He drove right through the middle of the town.
Well, of course, he's a fair wheel here.
Well, he bringing in a whole lot of money here at this track, too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
But
listen,
anyway, I appreciate it.
My buddy, Mr. J.R. Cundiff, thank you so much for being on Event Radio. Thank you for being a buddy all these years and taking the time to give us a few minutes of memory. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, my friend.
Your friendship is just no price on your friendship.
Me either, my friend. Me either.
Okay.
We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we are back. We have an old friend to join us that probably is the only guy around that can even remotely like our buddy Bob Davis. Mr. P.O. Brown, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
I want to know how did you get along with Bob long enough for you guys to actually found the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame?
Well, me and Bobby go back a long way. We were little,
You know it
we were
well.
little boys. We've been friends for a long time.
Really, about like Terry and I. We actually started at 8 years old, you know.
That's probably pretty close to me and Bobby, 8, 10, somewhere along in
Was
there.
it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So drag race all the time? Is that it or what?
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Well, that's good. That's what you want to do.
Yep, just hang out at the
What
racetrack.
what gave you guys the idea for the Hall of Fame?
We just got talking about it and thinking that someone ought to do it, and we just
Did it?
did it.
You know, that's usually the best way things happen. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? When you get ideas, a lot of people talk. What's I was saying? You can talk yourself into or out of anything, and
Sure.
and you plan on stuff too much. A lot of people do.
Yeah, you can overdo it.
Yeah. Did you ever think it'd grow as big as it is?
We was hoping it would. Wasn't sure, but was hoping it needs to.
Do you like the idea that it's back in Owensboro?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
I think that's a good place for it.
Yeah. Well, with the Sterretts and with all the race people that came from the
Yeah, there's a lot of
Owensboro
history,
area.
racing
Oh,
history
yeah,
in Owensboro.
Yeah. There's probably more history there than anywhere in the state,
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good racers from everywhere in Kentucky. I don't mean anything to take anything away from anybody, but all of the history that I mean, the guys that, man, there's been so many that made it big out of there. It's unreal.
Unbelievable for such a small community.
You know, we're going to go over there. Of course, Terry's no motorcycle racer, so he's buddies with Earl Hayden, and then I'm an old drag race boy, so David Green and I are buddies, and we're going to go over and do a show called My Three Sons, and with both of those guys having 3 boys, all of them becoming legends in motorsports. You know, David's boys, of course, in the stock car deal, and all of Earl's boys and daughter in the motorcycle deal. You know, there must be something in that water. Is there something in the water over there?
I don't know what it is, but it's
I mean, you
unbelievable.
know, yeah, they're just the hits just keep on coming. You got both the Waltrops, you got Jeremy Mayfield, you got. I mean, the list goes on and on. David Heath and those boys when I was growing up that did the old Kentucky Colonel car that I wound up with.
The Sterretts and boat racing.
Oh, and I grew up. Actually, I love Billy and Terry like brothers because we were such good friends as kids because we raced go-karts together as kids. And, of course, they're both rest in peace, guys. We love you. But they were such an influence on me. Mr. Sterrett Hall, my little fat butt, all the way to the Miami Regatta, and that boat turned sideways on that truck. and I got to go to a lot of those things with them and was subjected and had my eyes open to things that I had, little old Kentucky boy doesn't know exist, you know.
Yeah. It's different when you get out away from here.
Oh, I'm telling you. And then you get out with the people in the caliber that they were.
True, yeah.
Oh, buddy, they were the bad guy in the United States. I mean, Miss Budweiser, none of those guys had anything to do with that Miss Chrysler crew boat.
Yeah, they were big time.
Yeah. And Mr. Sterrett was such a nice man. I mean, he treated me like one of his, you know, and was so good to me. It was unreal. So what's P.O. Brown up to now? What's your latest move that you're going to do?
My latest move that I did was moving to Virginia for a job at the shipyard.
Really? So what do you do at the shipyard?
I work in the nuclear submarine department building the weapons cradles.
Whoa. I'd say that's fairly technical.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Coming
What
from
do
an
you do? I
automotive
just build, I just set off the nuclear weapons and going to destroy a country. Not a big deal. How in the world did you get involved in that?
My wife's boys took machine shop in high school, and they found out about the apprentice program at the shipyard, and they got accepted into that.
Uh-huh.
And when I lost my job, they were able to get me into the shipyard.
Well, it's not like they didn't hire somebody that was good at what they did, you know. I mean, you're an ace at everything you do, you know.
I try.
No, you are. They don't just get the guy from the corner to go work on nuclear submarines, my friend. I don't think I could hold my breath that long.
I haven't been in one. I don't know if I can handle it.
I wonder how those guys do. You know, I guess if you don't think about it, it's got to be better, huh?
I would think, yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'm a wimp. I admit it. Well, buddy, I've taken you away from all these pretty girls, and I feel guilty about that.
Well,
you know,
what can I say?
Your reputation precedes you here.
What about the crowd we got here today?
Hey, we're doing all right, buddy. We're going to be. This is going to be a fun deal. As we have talked about earlier, this brings back so many memories to me. This is like old home week for me. I love this place. I grew up here as a kid, and I was telling them I run off the end so many times. I finally put a parachute on my car.
I always considered this my second home.
Well, it was for me too. You know, growing up, and to have this reunion, the 50th anniversary celebration going on, and to be asked to come back here to do this little radio show. I mean, that's a highlight of one of the things I've done in my life. I feel so honored; it's unreal. And this is going to be a great day, a great show, and we're going to have fun.
That's what it's all about.
It sure is. My good friend, Mr. P.O. Brown, thank you so much for letting me disturb you from all the pretty girls and for being on Event Radio. It is always an honor and a pleasure to have you, and thank you for putting up with Bob long enough for you all to come up with the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame to let people enjoy it and find out about the history and the heritage of Kentucky.
All right, thank you. Enjoy
Thank you, buddy. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we are back, and we're back with no doubt the most colorful announcer that has ever been, in my eyes anyway. The gentleman that if you came to US 60, you may have not seen him, but you for sure heard him. Our good buddy and co-founder of the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame, the one and only Mr. Bob Davis. Bob, how are you, my friend?
Spivvy, thank you so much for the kind words. I'll pay you that $20 next time I see you. I promise.
Yeah. Well, you promised to give me $20.
I think I've done that. I promised you that before, and sometimes I'm writing a check I just can't cash. You know.
Well, that's okay, buddy. I mean, it's in the mail. I realize that.
You know, we're glad y'all come. We got a crowd today. My goodness.
Hey, buddy, you got some killer race cars here today.
I seen the dangest thing. I've been to the drag strip here for 30-something years, and I seen the dangest thing a while ago I've ever seen in my life. There was some guy walking through the middle of pits with a pair of cutoffs on and no shirt on and had a pair of jumper cables wrapped around his neck.
I know.
You know what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's trying to start something.
I know, and you're going to keep him from it. I know you, buddy. I know you. Actually, I did tell that story earlier when you told me.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
I couldn't help it. It was just too cool not to do.
Well, we are tickled to death that you and your crew from Event Radio are making our special weekend part of your weekend because
we're honored that
there's people right now that's been waiting 50 years for this, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's right.
They've been waiting 50 years for
not
this.
Not for us, but for 50 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. This place is it, and I've said it on just about every interview. It's such a special place to me because I had so much fun here as a kid. You know, my times here were when drag racing was fun. You know, later on in what little bit of a career I had in it, it became a business. And when I came here on Friday nights, man, it was just flat fun. Now, that's all you can say. Absolutely,
and it's, back years ago, we used to have a little thing here. We'd run a trophy class, and you had the opportunity, if you won, you could take $5 or you could take a trophy.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they turned that $5 in. They wanted that trophy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Terry was talking about Elmo coming up here. And he would actually bring 4 or 5 trophies, and they would cash them for him, and he would increase his spending money that way because he had won so many. You know,
that's using a little entrepreneurship there, isn't it?
Yeah, he was a pretty slick guy. You know, he was a pretty smooth fella. This has got to bring back a ton of memories to you.
The biggest, the most fun I've had in a while, and the crowning moment happened yesterday for me. I mean, it's going to be good today, don't get me wrong, but yesterday, Keenan O'Connell, the track founder, the granddaddy of them all right here around Hardsburg, that through the years he ran the Color Me Gone car. He bought it from the whenever Roger Linnemood, the driver, he won the 64 Nationals with it.
Right.
Keenan bought the car, raced it successfully, ran this track. As a matter of fact, him and his crew was so good they even went and worked a couple of races in Florida back in the in the 60s. You know, they had it down pat back in. But Keenan come out yesterday, and we got to ride around on the golf cart and do a little meet and greet, and it just one of them days there that you'll never forget.
Well, you know, the people make it what it is. You know, the race cars and all that are fun, but you know, I've sat and talked to Susie about how much I would love to do this again. And we both, number one, I got too old to do it, but we both came up with, you know, it would not be the same because of the people.
Exactly.
You know, so many of them are no longer with us, and they were such great memories growing up and had so much fun. It might put a dampener on the good times, you know?
Well, we've lost, and you know, it seems like every day we're losing somebody.
That's right. Exactly.
I got the sad news yesterday. Tom Hagan, a dear friend up in Lexington, run Track Services Incorporated, that worked on everybody's Christmas tree in no telling how many states. He passed away one day this week.
Yeah.
We lost him. And
I tell you, we're getting old, buddy. You think?
Yeah, I tell you, it's. I can almost remember when rocks were soft.
Well, I tell you what, I didn't know you were quite that old, but you know, I knew that they had your name over here that they inscribed in stone, but I didn't know what the deal was.
Yeah, I think it was.
I didn't know they chiseled it.
Yeah, I think it was done by hand.
Was it? That's what you did the ET slips when you first started here.
We used sign language a lot back then. Yeah.
Okay.
We couldn't. We couldn't afford a printer or ink pens or anything like that.
I understand.
It's going to be a great. We got a nice little start on. We've not got a huge quantity of cars in our car show day, but I'm going to tell you, the quality is as good as anything you'll see anywhere you want to go.
Well, now we did bow for Boney. I want you to know we didn't. You know, he won't. He said that we have been graced with his presence, and like we had to do at the Redneck Rumble.
Yeah,
we have bowed now that Boney is here. So
I'm going to try to get Boney signed up. I took one of them Dale Carnegie classes.
Yeah,
and they've got one called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And I'm going to probably pass the hat and see if we can get enough money to get Boney signed up into.
Well,
one
he
of those
ought to
classes.
be an A student. You know, I mean, no,
he probably out-talked the teacher.
Yeah, we love him. He's a great guy, and he just won't be on the radio with us. That's one of the problems.
I think he's holding up for to be a paid spokesperson as well.
Well, maybe he is, but I guess that's what he's waiting on is for us to pay him, and we don't have any money. You know, so. I guess we've got to work and do something.
Just give him a sticker and send him on, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I talked to P.O. a few minutes earlier on the show that you two guys actually dreamed up the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame. And were you just sitting around eating a burger one night and said, boy, this would be cool, or how'd you do that?
Well, we started out several years ago down at the museum, the Speed Museum there in Owensboro, the Museum of Science and History. We started doing, and back in them days, Army was still involved with it some, and Huber was around then. We was doing a old racers reunion, and we got into a planning meeting there one day, and we just kind of come up, well, maybe we ought to take this one step further and see, there's a lot of these old guys that are just like we were talking about there a minute ago. There's a lot of these guys that's gone on to
Happy Hunting Ground,
the big drag strip up there in the sky, and it's time that some of them maybe get a little pat on the back before they check out on us.
Well, there are so much raw talent that came from this area, and we talked about earlier at this particular facility. This is the very first place I ever saw a funny car go down a racetrack. Was right here, and that was a guy by the name of Charlie Allen.
Yeah,
and that was you'll remember how long ago that was.
And he went on to eventually, and may still run the Firebird drag strip out
in California.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I watched him. I watched Arnie Beswick. I watched several of the old guys put on a show here, and it just blew me away. I just went crazy, and I thought, boy, one of these days I need to try that.
There is no telling how many checks that Bob Glidden took away from this place.
Oh,
if there was a super stock meet anywhere around, Bob and Etta and the boys was right here.
Yeah, and that was a staple to his income. That was before any big money got paid in drag.
Oh yeah, and I talked to him a few years ago at Indy, and he just couldn't believe US 60 was still here. And he says, "Man, me and Eddie used to come down there and said the boys was little." And says late nights, my gosh, said we'd have tear down all that stuff. And says I remember Eddie used to take the baby bottle and lay it on the intake manifold to warm it up for the boys. And we'd come here on Friday night, and then we'd maybe going up to Ohio Valley on Saturday night and go to Beach Bend on Sunday. So we just made a big circle every weekend.
Oh yeah, and it was the
but he said like what you said. That was back when it was still fun.
Well, and it was, and it's like everything else that is fun. It always figures out a way to get a commercial end to it, and it's a situation that it's sort of like a dog chasing its tail. You start out having a blast, and then things get more expensive, and you got to chase a little harder, and then they get more expensive, and you got to keep on chasing, and finally you're just running into circles, and all the fun is gone.
I invited him. I wished he could come down some weekend and just set a spell with us. And he said I would love. Said this is back when he was still running. I think he had the probe at the time.
Yeah.
And he said I would give anything in the world if I could come back and run maybe Friday night at Hartsburg and go to Ohio Valley and run on Saturday night. Maybe go to Beach Bend and see everybody over there on Sunday. But he says sponsorship commitments totally eliminate that kind of stuff. He said I can't break parts.
Well, I can remember going to Beach Bend and seeing Bob run a match race with Wayne Cap.
Yeah.
And an old fella that you might recognize now that's in the NASCAR business.
A guy with a hat. He's got a little
He's got
hat.
a funny little hat.
Yeah.
He's
Jack
a cat.
Roush.
Jack Roush. Yeah.
You know,
matter of fact, he's one of the inductees this time.
There you go. Yeah, he's coming in this year.
Yeah, I actually commandeered at the Ford race last year. I had Susan sitting down, his daughter, talking to her.
Now, she's a fierce competitor.
Hey, buddy, I'm telling you, she's cool. And she told us some stories that probably Jack wouldn't want told, but he'd just have to live with it, But she's a sweetheart, really a nice gal. And then I sat and talked to Donnie Bowles, Don Bowles' son. Mm-hmm. And Donnie remembers me running the old funny car there, and he'd be sitting in the back of the trailer playing with a Tonka truck. Now, how do you like to talk to a guy like that? Does that make you feel good or what? Boy, it's been a while.
I've often wondered, if it hadn't been for Jack Roush, where would Don Bowles have went? If it hadn't been for Don Bowles, where would Jack Roush went? Because
they were hand in hand, and I didn't know until Dickie Ogles and I were talking. Dickie went through basic training in the Army with, he calls him Donald Bowles.
That's something that I noticed too. You can tell the old friends by whether it's Don or Donald.
Yeah, well, Dickie and I talked about that for a long time, and Don, of course, I've had him on here twice, and just a prince of a guy, a great guy. But those two guys actually enhanced each other's career to the point of making it where it really is today, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The combination of the two could do things that other people hadn't even thought about doing.
Oh, yeah. And Susan was talking about, Dad would deliver motors to Don's house, and Donnie and I would play as kids. And you're sitting there, boy, you talk about feeling old. Ah, terrible.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't remember that, though, as young as you are. You wouldn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
I still drinking chocolate milk back in.
Yeah, I know. You probably still are. Can't hold solids. At one time, you were the announcer here and at Owensboro, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And at Beach Bend.
Yes, sir. And
all three.
I would alternate back and forth every couple of years. I'd get bored at one place. I'd do worked for Cheryl and also worked for Mike Carews when they ran Ohio Valley in Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
Worked up there on Saturday night, so it.
I ran there a couple of times too.
It kept me busy in summertime, but I had fun. Made a lot of good friends.
Yes, man. I tell you what. Well, I tell you what. It is. Terry and I use you and Kenny Shane as a gauge. If we go to an event and we pull in and we see your car and Kenny's car sitting there, we know this is going to be a good one.
Something going to happen.
Well, but this is going to be a good one because you boys don't go to any slugs. You guys go to the most happening stuff that is going on anywhere, and we appreciate you letting us come up here and
well,
be
if
a
I hear
part
something
of this.
good, I want y'all. I know y'all got something good going on, and if I hear something good, I want to share it with you guys.
Hey, well, we appreciate
y'all first class operation, and ain't no telling how many times I've run my battery down on my phone, listening to you guys on my cell phone.
Hey, we appreciate it so much. We'll get you another phone charger where you can plug that dude in if you want to. Listen to it.
Yeah, it. I
mean, you just let us know, buddy.
I listen to it at work. I've got the guys at work turned on to event radio, and several friends, and showed a couple how you can put the app on your cell phone where you can listen to it anytime. And I've even rigged up a speaker to make your cell phone louder. I use one of them red Solo cups, and you can cut out an oval in the bottom of it and stick your cell phone up in there. Oh,
really?
It's just you sound like a DJ on an AM radio station. What
do
you
I
sound
really?
Like.
Gee, wow, that's scary.
That's
scary.
Kind of like you had a Larry Lujack thing.
That's scary. But I
I
always do.
Or Paul Harvey, one of you.
Right. I always knew those empty cups were good for something.
Absolutely.
We had them by the dozens here for a while.
I never knew till just recently what those marks are on the the indentations they've got on
what
the sides.
What are they?
Well, one of them is an ounce where you can pour it in there to the bottom line.
Oh, it's
there.
a liquor measurement.
And then if you want something a little stouter, you can go up to the next mark. And
see, guys, I told you that Bob Davis knew everything that was cool. See, anytime that we want to learn something cool, he's our band to come see because he knows it all, and just embarrasses me to death that I feel so sheltered. I never knew that.
Well, it's all about having a good time, enjoying time with your friends. Try to stay out of jail, and
yeah, Terry says all of his relatives are in the penitentiary. I don't know,
or out on work release. One of the other.
Work release. I guess. Well, listen, my friend.
Well, it's been great chatting with you.
Hey, buddy, it always is. We look forward to it. Everywhere we go that you're there, we always try to sneak you in on this radio because you're so much fun to be around. We know that you'll keep Kenny straight.
Absolutely.
We worry about Kenny, but we know that
we're going
to
have to work on finding him a good woman so he can settle down.
If she didn't have a supercharged Corvette or something, he'd run her off anyway.
You're right. Yeah.
Now
look at that. Look at that.
The legend's here now.
Hey, we can start now.
Yeah, everybody's been waiting on Dale Funk, and he goes by. This is going to be a killer event. Now, I don't know about having Funk on the radio because we haven't gotten over Hot Rod Reunion yet.
There's my wife right there, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a pretty girl wanting to hang out with you.
She gets around pretty good for a blind lady, don't she?
Well, I noticed she hadn't had LASIK surgery. You hadn't seen what she's married to. But, other than that.
If you give her a piece of chewing gum, though, you can't let her walk too far because she does have trouble. Tripping over things with the chewing gum and
she's going to
walk
shoot
at the same time. But
she can smother you out in your sleep.
We've got a wedding anniversary next weekend. 23 years, I guess it is. So I promised her we might go down to towards.
You going to take her to Crystal?
We might take her down to Crystal or White Castle if they're not too crowded.
Okay, well that sounds about like you, my friend.
Onion's kind of hard on her, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand, but that sounds like you, my friend. Of course, I'm sure if there's a race close, that will decide which restaurant.
But you would have been here this morning early. I have to tell you this. We had a chapel service here this morning, and of course I'm a big old cut up, so you can't believe any of this. But there's the preacher up there was preaching a fire and brimstone there, and he jumped out in front of the crowd there and says, "Everybody want to go to heaven? Stand up." Well, everybody stood up except this one little boy there on the front row. One of the racers' kids, I guess it was. He went on to preach and jumped out there again and just startled the daylight. He's keeping everybody awake now.
Sure.
He says, "Everybody want to go to heaven? Stand up." Well, everybody stood up except this one little boy. After everybody sat back down, he went over to the little boy and says, "Son, don't you want to go to heaven?" He says, "No, if you're leaving now."
Yeah, there you go.
I thought you was getting up a load now.
Yeah, there you go. The one and only, guys, Mr. Bob Davis. You have met him again on Event Radio. Our trip would not be complete without him, and one of the highlights of our day we're going to get out of here and have a word from our sponsor, and we will be right back. Well, T, what about our day today? How much fun can you have, and how many cool people can you talk to? What's the deal here?
This is drag racing, old school style, big time.
I tell you what, this has been we get to go to a lot of places, and we get to do a lot of stuff. But very seldom do you get to revisit a place that was one of the staples or one of the mainstays of
kind of like
growing
your favorite
up.
hangout in high school.
Yeah. It's sort of like going deja vu back to your favorite joint, when you were a kid. And this place, of course, was one of mine,
Seeing all your old friends, kind of like a class reunion, wasn't it?
Oh, man. I mean, the guys that started the Hall of Fame and everybody we've gotten to. JR, I haven't seen JR in years, and we had more fun drag racing over here as kids than the law allows. I mean, we should have both been in the Hardinsburg jail every 2 or 3
I heard
times.
they named that after you.
I think they may have. They redid the locks to make sure if we ever did get put in, we would never get out. But this place is just absolutely awesome.
The car show is killer. They got a lot of nice hot rods.
Oh man, some really pretty cars back here. But I've just had a great time. This has been this one hasn't been work at all. This has been fun.
The magnitude of the cars here is what blew me away. I didn't believe it'd be that many at one spot. It's been 50 years, though. Everybody wants to come back.
Yeah, and the legends that are here in them. I mean, you got Dave Huber going through there in a dragster that looks like a Back to the Future 50s car.
Yeah, and Dale Funk is in the house.
Dale's here, and I remember Dale, and we talked about it on our one of the shows that he was on. It was at this track where he had a rear engine or a front engine dragster that they were taking pictures of it, and they missed his wheelie. Well, he just stops her in the middle of the track and stands it on the back end again, and to where they could get a really good picture. And Dale, he's that accommodating kind of guy, Of course, he's about half wild dog, too.
And
but that
still won the race.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. But that was just pretty much to get their picture that they wanted. And I'm telling you, he stood the thing straight up in the air. It looked like a blowover, But he is a master, He's like a concert pianist in a drag car. This is fun. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end at some point in time, and we have to end this one. But, man, I've had a blast. This
place here, US 60, it's kind of like the old Ascot track in California. It's of course, Ascot is gone now. But, little tracks like this, they get kind of rooted out. But being where it's located, this booger will be around for a lot more years.
Oh, yeah, man. 50. I mean, because, guys, until you come here, this thing is downtown Hardinsburg. I mean, we're right downtown. And when it was built 50 years ago, this was sort of outside in the outskirts, and the town has grown all the way around it. So, man, it's right downtown, and still it's a great member of the community. Everybody here loves it. They like the place, and I see it being here another 50 years.
Well, it brings in a lot of money for the town folks.
Yeah, but I just wish that we could be around another 50 years to be able to come and do the 100th. But that's probably not in the cards, but at least we can think about it, T-Bone,
I hope we make it back next year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's don't push it, huh? We're going to get out of here, guys. We thank you so much for joining us on Event Radio. Of course, we always cannot say enough about our sponsors, Beach Bend Raceway and Beach Bend Park and Splash Lagoon.
Quick Fuel, Final Finish,
the Gearhead Gazette, everything that's cool going on with cars, and our new sponsor, the nice guys at Holly Performance. If you can't find something to do with a hot rod there, you're not looking very hard. Guys, we appreciate you joining us, and we will talk to you again.
Say bye.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.